Hey everybody, it's Maddie here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can crochet this tiny little alpaca or llama. It could be either. It's so cute and I plan on turning this into like a little keychain or something because I think it'll be so pretty. Anyway, let's begin crocheting. Okay, to begin making our mini alpaca, we're going to first start out with a magic ring. And to make a magic ring, you're going to take the tail end of your yarn and you're going to hold that in your right hand like this. And then with your left hand, you're going to take the yarn and you're going to wrap it around 2 fingers like this. And then we're going to flip our hand. And we're going to take this yarn here and we're going to wrap it on top till we get an X. I'm also holding this yarn over here with my pinky. And then we're going to take our crochet hook. We're going to go under this first loop here and we're going to grab this yarn, pull it, flip our crochet hook up, and then we're going to yarn over here and pull that through the loop that was on our hook. And that is how you make a magic ring. I do have a more detailed tutorial on how to make a magic ring, and I'll have that linked in the description if you're having a little bit of a hard time making the magic ring, because that is a little difficult to learn. Once we have our magic ring, we're going to be putting 6 single crochets in the ring. And to make a single crochet, we're going to take our hook and we're going to put it through our magic ring. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So we should have 2 loops on our hook like this. And then from here, we're going to yarn over and then pull through both of those loops like this. And that is how you make a single crochet. Let's go ahead and make another single crochet. So we're going to insert hook through the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, so we should have 2 loops on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So now we've made 2 single crochets. I'll go ahead and show you again. Insert your hook through the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, so we should have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So there's our 3rd single crochet. Let's go ahead and do 3 more single crochets so we have a total of 6 single crochets in our magic ring. So now I have 6 single crochets in our magic ring. And if you look on top of those stitches, you'll see how each stitch kind of makes a V, and that's how you can count your stitches. So like here's 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So from here, we're going to go ahead and tighten up our magic ring. And to do that, we're going to take that tail end of our yarn, and when we pull on that, it will tighten up that magic ring here. So just go ahead, pull that nice and tight, and you should get something that looks like this. From here, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of this round, which is going to be this stitch right here. And to make a slip stitch, we're going to insert our hook through the first stitch, like this, and then we're going to yarn over and pull out a loop, so we should have 2 loops on our hook, and then we're going to put this loop in through here like this, and that's how you make a slip stitch. Whenever I make slip stitches, I do like to tighten them, so I'll show you how to do that. I would just pull up on my hook like this. I'm also keeping the tension tight here, so whenever I pull on that like this real tight, it will tighten up that slip stitch. And now we've completed row 1. To start row 2, we're going to start by chaining 1. And to do a chain, all we need to do is yarn over and pull through like this. And that is going to be a chain. So after we have chained 1, we're going to start working in the stitches now. And in each of the stitches for the second round, we're going to be doing an increase in each of the stitches. And an increase means that we are just going to be putting 2 single crochets in each of the stitches. So I'll show you how to do that. So here in this first stitch, I'm going to go ahead and do a single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through a loop. So we get 2 loops on our hook. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So there's our first single crochet. We're going to put another single crochet in that same stitch so we can make this an increase. So go ahead and insert hook back through the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops on our hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So now we've made 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And that was our first increase. We're going to be doing increases in each of the stitches all the way till we make it back to the beginning of this round. So in this next stitch, we're going to go ahead and put 1 single crochet. There's our first single crochet, and then we'll go ahead and put a second single crochet in the same stitch, just like that. In this next stitch, we'll do the same thing by doing 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And then we're just going to repeat that on the last 3 stitches till we make it back to the beginning of this round. Okay, I just made it to the end of the round, and as you can see, I have no more stitches left till we make it back to this beginning stitch that we made at the beginning of this round. So now we know we've completed this round. From here, we're going to slip stitch into the top of this first stitch that we made, and you want to make sure that you're slip stitching into the stitch and not that chain that we made at the beginning of the round, because that can get a little confusing. But as you can see, here's the chain, and then here is the stitch, and we're going to go into the stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, and pull out a loop, and then we're going to put this loop in through here, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten that like this and pulling it back. So now we have completed round 2. Before we begin on round 3, I am going to be using a stitch marker just so I will be able to easily see when we get to the end of this next round, because this round is when we're going to be putting these little legs on our alpaca, and so it can get a little confusing when you get to the end of the round. So I always like to use a little stitch marker. So right after we have made that slip stitch, I'm going to go ahead and take our stitch marker, and I'm just going to put that on the loop that is on our hook. And close that up. I also like to move this stitch marker to the back of our work just so it doesn't get in the way. And now we can begin round 3. To start, we're going to chain 1. So just yarn over and pull through. After we have chained 1, we're going to work in this first stitch, and we're going to put 1 single crochet in that stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook through the first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops in our hook. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. In this next stitch, we're going to be doing an increase, or the 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So go ahead and do 1 single crochet, and then we'll go ahead and put another single crochet in the same stitch. So now we've made an increase. In this next stitch, we're going to put a bobble stitch. Now, a bobble stitch can be a little bit difficult, especially if you're a beginner, but I'm sure you got this. And this bobble stitch is what is going to make the little leg on our alpaca. So to make a bobble stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and then insert our hook through the stitch, yarn over again and pull out a loop. So then you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. And from here, we're going to yarn over again, insert our hook back through the same stitch, yarn over, and pull out a loop. And now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. And we're basically going to be repeating that till we have 5 of these loops on our hook. So here we have 3. We need to do it again. So yarn over, insert your hook through the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 4. Let's go ahead and do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook through the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we have 5 loops on our hook. From here, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 5 of those loops. And that right there is going to be your bobble stitch. We're pretty much just going to be repeating these 3 different stitches all the way around till we make it to the end of the round, and that will give us 4 feet for our alpaca. So after you've made the bobble stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So go ahead and do 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets. There's 1 single crochet, and we'll go ahead and do the second. So now we've done an increase. Also that bobble stitch may look a little weird like this, but what you need to do is just pop that out like this, so it's on the outside of our work, just like this. So after I've done that increase, we're going to do another bobble stitch in this next stitch. We're going to start by yarning over, insert our hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And as you can see, we only have 2 loops of yarn, so we're going to need to do that again. Insert our hook through the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 3. I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this till we have the 5 loops on our hook. Just like this, there are 5 loops. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 of the loops. After the bobble stitch, we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, just like this, and then we're going to do an increase in the next stitch, which is the 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And then also don't forget to pop out that bobble stitch. And then you're just going to repeat that till we make it to this stitch marker here. And by the time you get to the stitch marker, you should have done 4 bobble stitches. Okay, I just finished the last bobble stitch, and as you can see, we've made it to our stitch marker, and we have done the 4 bobble stitches. I'm going to go ahead and pop this one out here just like that. And now what we can do is slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round. The stitch marker is in that first chain, so make sure not to go inside the chain but in that first stitch right here. So go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, and pull out a loop. So we have 2 loops in our hook, and then we're going to put this loop in through here just like that. And then also don't forget to pop out that last bobble stitch. You can go ahead and remove that stitch marker from the stitch, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach that to the loop of yarn that's on the hook. And now we can begin with round 4. To start round 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And this round's pretty simple. All we're going to do is do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. So starting in this first stitch, we're going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet just like that. In the next stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then you're just going to go ahead and repeat that, doing 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. Okay, I just made it to the end of round 4, and as you can see here we have our stitch marker, so we know that we made it to the end of the round. And here you want to go ahead and stop and count all of your stitches. You should have a stitch count of 16, so do that before we move on to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and remove the stitch marker just because I find it annoying and sometimes will get in the way. Unless I really need it, I don't use it. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that for now. And from here, we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made at the beginning of the round, just like we've been doing on the previous rounds. So just go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, pull out a loop, and then put this loop in through here. And then tighten that. After we did our slip stitch, we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and in the next 7 stitches, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. So it's starting in this first stitch, we'll go ahead and put 1 single crochet. The next stitch, we'll put 1 single crochet, and we're going to do that for the next 7 stitches. So there's 3. After we have done 1 single crochet in 7 stitches, we're going to chain 2, 1, and 2, and then we're going to go into this second chain from the hook and we'll do a single crochet in there. So insert your hook through that second chain from the hook and do a single crochet just like that. And then from here we're going to slip stitch back into the same stitch right here. So go ahead and do a slip stitch right in there just like that. Make sure to tighten that. And then from here, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of the stitches till we make it to the end of the round. And that should be 9 stitches. Okay, I just made it to the end of our round 5. And from here, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round, just like we usually do. So go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, put this loop in through here. And tighten. Go ahead and chain 1. And now we can begin on row 6. For this row, all we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. So this row is very simple. Starting in the first stitch, go ahead and do 1 single crochet, and then the second, 1 single crochet. And go ahead and repeat that. Okay, just made it to the end of the round. Again, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of this round. Don't forget to tighten that. And then go ahead and chain 1. And now we can begin on row 7. In the first 4 stitches, we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. So go ahead and do the first one. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And next we're going to do 4 decreases. And to do a decrease, what we're going to do is stick our hook through the front loop of the first stitch like this, and then the back loop of the next stitch over like this. So pretty much we're going in through 2 stitches, the front loop of the first stitch and the back loop of the second. I'll kind of show you that again. So here we have the first stitch, and here we have the second stitch. We're going to go through the front loop of the first stitch and then the back loop of the second, just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet. So yarn over, pull out a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. And that right there is a decrease. We're going to do that 3 more times. So in these next 2 stitches, we're going to stick our hook through the front loop of the first stitch and the back loop of the second. and then go ahead and do a single crochet in there. Just like that. We're going to do 2 more decreases for a total of 4. Again, I'll show you how to do it. Go through the front loop of the first stitch and then the back loop of the second. Yarn over, pull out a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. I have 1 more decrease to do, so after you've completed the 4 decreases, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. And once you finish the last 4 stitches, you should come to the beginning of the last round that we just worked in. So you should be done with this row. Again, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of this round. So go ahead and do your slip stitch, pull that tight, and then chain 1. For this next row, we're going to be doing 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do 3 decreases, and then 1 crochet in the next 3 stitches. So I'll show you how to do that. So starting in this first stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. In the next stitch, we're also going to do another single crochet. And then in this third stitch, we'll do a single crochet. So after those 3 stitches, we're now going to do 3 decreases. Stick your hook through the front loop of the first stitch and then the back loop of the second. And go ahead and do your single crochet. So there's a first decrease. I'm going to go ahead and do another decrease. So there's 2, and then we'll do 1 more, for a total of 3 decreases. And then from here, you should have 3 stitches left to make it to the end of this round. And in each of those stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 3. And now we've made it to the end of this round. Again, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of this round, and then chain 1. And now what I like to do, since this is kind of closing up a little bit, I like to go ahead and stuff the body now because it gets a little bit difficult to stuff if you wait any longer. So just go ahead and stuff your little alpaca. That seems pretty good. For this round, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. We're going to do 2 decreases and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Starting in these first 3 stitches, go ahead and put 1 single crochet. There's 1, 2, and then 3. So those first 3 stitches only have 1 single crochet. Next, we're going to do 2 decreases. So front loop of the first stitch, back loop of the second, yarn over, pull out a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more decrease, and then you should have 2 stitches left, and in each of those stitches you're going to put 1 single crochet. 1 and then 2. And then from here, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round. Make sure to tighten that. And then chain 1. As you can see, it's getting quite small, but that's because we're going to make the neck of our alpaca. These next 2 rounds are pretty simple. All we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of the stitches around. So starting in this first stitch, we're going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and just go ahead and repeat that all the way around. And then when you make it to the end of the round, again, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round, and then chain 1. And for this round, we're going to do the same thing that we did in the last round, just doing 1 single crochet each of the stitches around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and we can do the next round. Okay, I just finished with another round of just single crochets around, and now we kind of had a little bit of a neck of our alpaca, and I'm just going to go ahead and stop and start stuffing that neck a little bit. That seems pretty good, and now we can continue crocheting. So for this round, what we're going to do is we're going to do an increase in the first stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, another increase, and then we're going to do single crochets the rest of the way around. So starting in this first stitch, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So go ahead and put your first single crochet in that stitch, and then go ahead and put a second single crochet in the same stitch to make it an increase. Just like that. This next stitch will just be 1 single crochet. Just like that. And then the next stitch will be another increase. So go ahead and do your first single crochet and then put a second single crochet in there to make it an increase. And then you should have 4 stitches left, and in those 4 stitches we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of those all the way around. And just like that, we've made it to the end of this round. Again, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round, just like we've been doing, and then chaining 1. For this round, what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to do a bobble stitch, and then we're just going to single crochet each of the stitches all the way around. So starting in this first stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and then also in the next stitch we'll do a single crochet. Just like that. And now we're going to do a mini bobble stitch. It's very similar to the way we made these bobble stitches down here, except we're going to pull through the yarn when we only have 4 loops on the hook. I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then we're going to yarn over again, insert your hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that one more time, so we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, insert our hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and now we have the 4 loops on our hook. The only difference is, instead of having 5 loops on our hook, we have 4. It's pretty much the same thing. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. Now we've made our bobble stitch. In the remaining stitches, we're just going to be putting 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So in this next one, put a single crochet, the next stitch, single crochet, and just repeating that to make it all the way around to the end of this row. And then again, just like we've been doing, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made at the beginning of the round, and then also chain 1. Also, don't forget to flip out your bobble stitch so it's facing the correct direction. To start the next round, we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then from here we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So right here, go ahead and do a single crochet in that chain, and then we're going to slip stitch back into the same stitch right down here. Right there. Go ahead and do a slip stitch. Make sure it's nice and tight. In the next stitch, we're just going to put 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease on top of that bobble stitch. So it is a little bit difficult to see, but we're going to go through the front loop of the first stitch and the back loop of the second stitch and do a decrease. Next, we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then also in the next stitch, we'll do another single crochet. Go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do a single crochet in this second chain from the hook, just like we did over here. So go ahead and do a single crochet in that second chain. And then we're going to slip stitch back into the same stitch, just like we did before. And then from here you should have 3 stitches left, and in each of those stitches just go ahead and put 1 single crochet. And now we've made it to the end of our final round. Again, we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch into the beginning stitch that we made at the beginning of the round. So go ahead and make your slip stitch, make sure that's nice and tight. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. I like to leave a little bit of a tail just because we do have to sew that head closed. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. And then to fasten this off, I'm just going to pull my hook up like this till that yarn comes out. And make sure to pull that tight to make sure that that doesn't come undone. And now we kind of have a funny looking alpaca. We're not completely finished yet. Go ahead and make sure that you stuff the head as much as you want it stuffed. That seems pretty good. And now from here, all we need to do is sew up the head. And the way I like to sew it up, you could do this another way if you wanted, but what I like to do is just flatten it this way, and then I'm going to sew along these stitches and sew that closed like this. So I'll show you how to do that. Also here I have my yarn needle. So go ahead and thread your yarn through your needle like this. And from here, what I like to do is just stick the needle through just some of this yarn here. Pull that through, and then I like to stick it through the tip of the ear right here, because I like to get the yarn on one ear first because it's easier to sew it closed. So once you get it to the tip of the ear, the front side of the ear, and then also the back side of the ear, and I'm just going to pull that closed like this. And then from here, I'm going to go through this back stitch here and then this front stitch right here, like this. Pull that tight. And then I'm going to take the needle, I'm going to go through the front stitch first and then the back loop second, like this. And pull that tight, and then you're just going to weave that back through the next stitch. And then I also like to go up the ear as well. And then of course, once that looks good, I'm just going to go ahead and weave this needle through some of the stitches like this. Just go ahead and trim your yarn once you have that weaved through pretty good. And now you have your tiny llama. Ta-da! And there you have it. That's how you make your little tiny alpaca or llama, depending on what you want to call it. I ended up sewing on some eyes and like its little mouth. I don't know if I did a really good job on that, but you know, it's still cute anyway. You also don't need to put on eyes or a mouth because it does look fine without it, because this one is just like a spotted one. Anyway, that's how you crochet your little mini alpaca. I think this is adorable, and I plan on turning mine into like a little keychain or something. This also is a great crocheted gift because it doesn't take too long to make, and it's really adorable. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a like, and let me know down below what color you made your alpaca. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!